When I fell down at my job, the hospital workers called my mom and dad. Nobody showed up. 5 days passed, and I was stuck in bed with tubes in my arms. Then I checked my telephone and found something that made my stomach hurt. My sister posted a picture online. Her bright smile filled the screen and the words underneath said, "Best family trip ever, no problems here." Those words felt like someone punched me. I didn't send messages. I didn't even feel sad anymore. I just watched people click the heart button, trying to remember when family meant caring about each other instead of pretending everything was perfect. 4 days after that, my phone showed 74 people tried to call me, and one note from my dad appeared. "Where are you? Call right now." That moment changed everything, but not how they wanted it to. I always thought being tired was normal when people needed you. At Ocean View Restaurant, we served food from morning until night. Tables never stopped filling up, orders kept coming, and somehow I always stayed until closing time. The other workers said I never stopped moving, like a machine that couldn't break. They didn't understand it wasn't because I loved working. It was because I had to. Every dollar I made wasn't really mine. It belonged to the people waiting at home, ready to ask for help one more time. My dad, Thomas, stopped having a job after the big store he worked at closed down. He said it was just for a little while, but 8 years felt like forever. My mom, Sandra, kept saying he would find something soon, but what he really found was my bank account. My sister, Nicole, called herself a content creator and always started new businesses. A makeup line, a fitness program, a jewelry shop. Each one disappeared faster than ice cream melts in summer. My help usually meant sending money with notes that said, "For supplies," or "Just until next week." And my baby brother Marcus, still going to art college, never argued with anyone. He just asked quietly and forgot he ever borrowed anything. From far away, we looked like a magazine cover family. Matching clothes during holidays, everyone smiling in pictures, holding hands at the park. On the internet, Nicole wrote, "The Harrison family shows that loving each other is all that matters." She wrote that the same day I paid for Mom's doctor visit and covered the late payment for their house. Love, I guess, came with a price tag. Uncle Ray was the only person who noticed the truth. He worked with numbers his whole life at a big company and could tell when things didn't add up. "You can't measure love like you measure money," he told me once. "But you'll figure out when things stop making sense." He tried to warn me gently that my family started treating me like their backup plan. I didn't want to think he was right. I grew up believing that helping your family fixed all problems. So I kept helping. I paid for things I shouldn't have, smiled when I felt empty inside. The real truth was I felt scared to say no. Scared that if I ever refused, they would finally show me they never really loved me at all. The night before everything went wrong, I was still cleaning tables at midnight, looking at order sheets I could barely read. My chest felt tight for many weeks, like something was squeezing it. My eyes got blurry around the edges. I thought it was just from being tired. It wasn't. But even then, as I put away my apron, my phone made a sound. A message from Nicole appeared. "Can you help with my car payment? I promise I'll give it back soon." I started typing an answer, then erased it, then typed again. "Okay." That was the last thing I wrote before the floor came up fast and everything went black. The hospital lights hurt my eyes when I woke up. Everything looked fuzzy at first, the ceiling, the machines, the woman in the nurse uniform, asking if I knew my name. I couldn't answer quickly. I was still trying to remember what happened. My phone was dead. My chest felt heavy. The beeping machine next to me kept making sounds, counting something important inside me. When the doctor finally talked to me, his voice was calm but felt far away. "Your heart stopped working right," he explained. "You're lucky your manager knew what to do." Lucky. That word felt wrong. Because being lucky shouldn't be what keeps you breathing. Your family should care enough to do that. They told me they called the people listed as my emergency contacts, my parents, but nobody picked up the phone. "We left many messages," the nurse said carefully, like she worried the truth would hurt worse than the needle in my arm. Hours went by slowly. No calls, no visits, nothing at all. I watched sunshine move across the wall until it disappeared into darkness. On the 5th day, the nurse brought my phone back, all charged up. I knew I shouldn't look, but I couldn't help it. The first thing I didn't see was a missed call or a worried text. It was a notification that said, "You were tagged in a post by Nicole's official page." My hands shook as I pressed it. The picture loaded bit by bit. Sunshine, blue water, trees. My whole family smiling around a picnic blanket. My mom holding a watermelon slice. My dad with a soda in his hand. Marcus making silly faces next to Nicole, whose words glowed under their happy faces. Best family trip ever, no problems here. For a second I forgot how to breathe. The machine started beeping faster and louder, matching my heartbeat. It felt like a joke that wasn't funny. They erased me while acting like family was everything. I made the picture bigger to see their faces better. Smiling, relaxed, having fun. Nobody looked sorry. Nobody looked like they missed me even a little bit. A nurse walked past and asked if I was okay. I said, "No, but I think I'm starting to understand something." I didn't leave a comment, didn't call them, didn't even send a message. I just stared until the screen went dark and I could see my own face looking back, pale, tired, but suddenly feeling clear about everything. That kind of clear feeling doesn't come from being happy. Comes from finally seeing the truth. By the 6th day, I started walking again, moving slowly and carefully, pulling the medicine pole like it was attached to me. The doctor said getting better would take a long time. He didn't know my heart wasn't the only thing that needed fixing. Then one morning my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. 74 people had tried calling. A text from Dad appeared. "Where are you? Call right now." No asking if I was okay. No sorry. Just demanding, commanding, panicking. I read it once. Then again. The craziness of it almost made me laugh out loud. They ignored me when I needed them most. And now they were ordering me to save them again. But I didn't call back. Not this time. Instead, I scrolled to a different name. Uncle Ray. My finger stayed over his name for a moment. He was the only one who still meant safety. When I pressed call, he answered fast. "Heard," he said softly. "You don't need to explain anything." That was the first time in forever that someone talked to me like I actually mattered. Uncle Ray arrived less than an hour later, wearing his old gray jacket and that look on his face that never showed surprise. He didn't hug me. He never did that kind of thing. But he sat down next to my hospital bed like he belonged there. "So," he said, looking at the beeping machine. "They finally pushed you too far, huh?" I smiled just a tiny bit. "Guess they did." He didn't ask for the whole story. He already understood everything. That's just how he was. Quiet, smart, knowing. He stayed all day talking to my nurses, making sure my insurance paid what it should. When the billing person mentioned some unpaid bills, he didn't look worried. He took out his tablet computer and started typing. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Getting organized," he said. "Before you start cutting people out of your life, you need to see where all your money is going." We looked at everything together. My bank accounts, the automatic payments, the insurance for the car, the credit cards with both our names. My stomach felt sick as the list got longer and longer. Every single week, money left my account like I was bleeding slowly. Nicole's loan payment, Marcus's apartment rent, Mom's car payment, even the electric bill for a house I moved out of years ago. "How did I let this happen?" I whispered. "You thought you were showing love," he said simply. "They thought you were obligated to help." Different things completely. That night, while the machines hummed and the hospital got quiet, Uncle Ray showed me how to turn them all off, one by one. Not because I wanted to be mean, but because I needed to survive. He made a chart, wrote down every payment that happened automatically, and gave it to me like it was a map showing the way out of a dark forest. "Tomorrow," he said, "we go to the bank." Barely slept. I kept seeing that picture in my mind. Their smiles, the sunshine, and hearing the quiet beep of the machine like a timer counting down. The next morning I called my bank from the hospital room. The worker recognized my voice. I had been the person who always paid on time for years. By lunchtime, all the automatic payments were gone. Nicole's account stopped. Marcus's rent payment canceled. Mom's insurance removed. Each click felt like I could finally breathe fresh air again. By dinner time, my phone started buzzing with messages. First one from Mom. We just found out what happened. Why didn't you tell us you were hurt? Then Marcus wrote, can we talk? This is all a big misunderstanding. I ignored every single one. Uncle Ray sat next to me, pretending to read his newspaper, but I knew he was watching. Do you feel bad yet? He asked after a while. Yeah, I admitted. A little bit. That feeling will go away, he said, folding his newspaper. Feeling guilty is just something good people feel before they finally become free. The next day I left the hospital. Uncle Ray drove me to my apartment. My place felt smaller than I remembered, like the walls were listening to everything. I turned off my phone, unplugged it, and looked out the window for a long time. Then it vibrated once. Another message from Dad. This is serious. Call me right now. Everything is falling apart. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. They thought my silence meant I was giving up. They didn't know silence was the sound of me taking my life back. 2 days later, I was sitting at Uncle Ray's house in Seattle, a small house that smelled like coffee and old books. He cleared off his kitchen table and spread out papers everywhere, like a general getting ready for battle. Payment histories, bank statements, insurance letters, my money trail across years of quietly helping them. Every story leaves clues behind, he said. Yours just happens to be in money. He was right. By the time we finished looking at everything, the picture was clear. I hadn't just helped them. I had been paying for them to pretend everything was fine. Without my money, everything they built, the image, the comfort, the control, would fall apart. And it did. Calls doubled. My voicemail filled up with my mother's voice. Sweet on top but sharp underneath. Maya, sweetie, we didn't know you were in the hospital. Why didn't you tell us earlier? Then quieter, almost whispering. Your father is worried about the house payment again. Worried, not sorry. Nicole's texts came next. Pictures of her empty bank account, crying face emojis. And one message that said, if you don't fix this, I'll lose everything I have. I stared at it for a long time before replying with just one word. Then Marcus tried. I'm not like them, he wrote. Please don't punish me for what they did. I almost laughed. He said the same exact thing when I helped him get his apartment last year. Uncle Ray watched me scroll through the messages, the corner of his mouth twitching like he had seen this movie before. They're not calling because they care about you, he said. They're calling because they're trapped now. He was right again. The next morning, a car sat outside my apartment building. Thomas Harrison, my father, sitting in the driver's seat, staring up at my window. He didn't text. He didn't come upstairs. He just waited like someone waiting to collect money they're owed. I didn't go down. That afternoon, a new message arrived. You're about to ruin everything we built together. I hope you know the damage you're causing. Everything we built together. I read it twice out loud just to hear how crazy it sounded. I showed it to Uncle Ray. He just nodded slowly. That sentence tells you more than he meant it to. And then the video appeared. Nicole uploaded it that night. A slow, sad walk through our childhood home, now empty. The camera showed bare walls and boxes scattered around. Her voice was shaking. They took everything away, she said. And guess who let them? The video cut to a photo of me smiling, taken from a Christmas years ago. The caption said, sometimes your blood relatives aren't really your family. The comments exploded. Sympathy, pity, judgment from strangers. Other internet famous people shared it. My inbox filled with people I never met calling me selfish and mean. Uncle Ray watched the whole thing without saying anything, then stood up, pulled his phone from his pocket, and made 3 calls. Within 2 days we had every document we needed. House papers, loan defaults, late payment notices. They had used the house value to pay off Nicole's credit cards and Marcus's failed business idea, a coffee shop that never even opened. I didn't even have to tell everyone what they did. The numbers did it for me. Still, I reported the fraud. Uncle Ray and his lawyer friend, Mrs. Chen, helped prepare a legal order that said no contact, no pretending to be me, no asking for money. We sent it through special mail that required signatures, one to each family member. For the first time in years, I slept the whole night without waking up. The next morning I woke to my phone buzzing like crazy. Marcus's face showed up on my doorbell camera downstairs. Arguing with the building's security guard. He wasn't on my approved visitor list. I saw him walking back and forth outside, phone to his ear, probably calling Nicole. I didn't go out to talk to him. Later, Uncle Ray showed up again, holding a thick envelope with papers inside. "They've done something really dumb," he said. Inside were printed emails between my parents and a small law office. I read the words once, then twice, not believing what I saw. They were trying to get legal control over me. I read the title out loud. Emergency Request for Guardianship. Uncle Ray sighed deeply. "They tried this before with your aunt years ago. Didn't work then either. But this time, it could have worked if I hadn't already moved everything under the special account he created. If my doctor hadn't written letters saying I was perfectly fine. If my job hadn't sent confirmation that I was on medical leave, not fired. By the time they filed their paperwork, our advance paperwork had already been submitted to the courthouse. Their request was denied immediately. Still, they didn't stop trying." Nicole posted again, this time with tears running down her face. Her makeup was smeared as she spoke into the camera. "Mental health problems don't always look obvious," she said. "Sometimes the people you love push you away because they're sick. We're just trying to help her before something terrible happens." Her followers flooded the comments with sympathy. Praying for Maya started appearing everywhere online. But the internet has a short memory and gets angry fast. Someone found her old best family trip ever. "No problems here" post and put it next to her. Crying video. "So where was all that concern when she was in the hospital?" the caption said. Everything changed overnight. Screenshots appeared everywhere. Nicole's paid sponsorships. Her posts about makeup during the week I was in the hospital. Her old tweets complaining about toxic siblings. Marcus's online art store got flooded with comments asking questions. My father's clients at his new small business left him. Even my mother's social media was filled with strangers demanding answers. By Friday, the family's online kingdom had collapsed faster than their money situation. Uncle Ray handed me his coffee cup to hold. "You didn't have to do anything," he said. The truth took care of itself. That night, one single text arrived from my mother. "Please, can we just talk?" I stared at it for a long time, my thumb hovering over the keyboard where I could type. Then I locked the screen and put it face down on the table. Across the room, Uncle Ray was reading his book. "You okay?" he asked without looking up. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Just finished with all of it." But they still weren't done. The next morning, someone delivered another envelope to my door. This one wasn't from their lawyer. It was from my father himself. A handwritten will, a document about what happens when someone dies. He had rewritten it the week after the guardianship failed. In shaky handwriting it said, "When I die, everything I own goes to family members who stay united. Maya is removed from this until she makes peace with us." I couldn't help laughing. It was the same manipulation, just written in formal language on fancy paper. I showed it to Uncle Ray. "They still think I want their stuff." He smiled faintly. "They're not used to someone walking away before the money is even discussed." That evening I wrote my final response. Not through text messages, not online, but through my attorney. It was short, clear, and final. "I give up all rights to anything they own and request permanent no contact with any family members." I signed it, sealed it in an envelope, and handed it to Uncle Ray. "File this on Monday," I said firmly. He nodded once. "What will you do now?" he asked. I looked toward the window. Outside the rain was stopping. "I think I'll take a break," I said. "Maybe somewhere peaceful and quiet." For the first time in years I really meant what I said. 2 weeks later, the rain finally cleared up completely. Uncle Ray and I packed the few things I wanted to keep. One suitcase, my laptop computer, and a few photographs that still felt like they belonged to me. We drove west toward Montana. He said he wanted to see the wide open spaces again before winter came. I didn't argue or ask questions. I just watched the highway pass by, mile after mile, the world finally quiet around me. The small house we rented sat near a hill covered with tall grass. No noise, no traffic, no family drama. Just silence that felt clean and honest. I worked from my computer for the restaurant's main office now. Fewer hours, no pressure from anyone. My days started with hot tea and ended with the sound of crickets chirping outside. Sometimes I'd still get messages. Cousin asking, "What really happened?" A stranger saying they read the posts online and wanted to know my side. I didn't answer any of them. I didn't need to. Let them believe whatever story made sense to them. My truth didn't need an audience anymore. Uncle Ray would sit by the window, newspaper in hand, pretending not to watch me breathe easier each day. "You did it," he said one morning while drinking his coffee. "You broke the pattern." I smiled softly. It only cost me everything I thought I had. He chuckled quietly. "That's actually the cheap price." And he was absolutely right. Because what I gained was worth more than all the apologies I'd never get, all the inheritance money, all the forced family photos combined and framed on walls. For the first time in my entire life, I wasn't the provider, the fixer, or the daughter who owed everyone everything. I was just Maya. Alive, belonging to myself, and finally completely free. I used to think being quiet meant losing. That walking away was the same as quitting. But now I know being quiet can be a choice you make, a boundary you draw, a kind of peace that doesn't need anyone's permission or approval. My family still tries to reach out through other people, testing to see if I'll break the silence I created. I never do. Some stories don't need new chapters added. They just need to end where they should. If you've ever been called selfish for finally putting yourself first, I hope this story reminds you that choosing peace isn't betraying anyone. It's surviving. They can keep their posts, their pity parties, their version of what happened. I'll keep my stillness, my real laughter, my actual life. If you've ever had to walk away from your own family to heal and get better, share your story in the comments below. You're not alone.